StyleLife.com presents StyleLife Academy.
And then you actually plunge the knife into the throat, push out, and that's how you can kill someone. They can't make a sound. That's the good stuff. So, oh, pardon me. Hey guys, Bravo here. You might be looking at me and all this cool stuff and thinking, wow, that guy's an alpha male. And you're right, I am. But this stuff doesn't make me an alpha male. It just makes me really cool and tough. It means I can kill you. But on this month's DVD, which is from last year's Total Life Makeover Conference, you're going to check out my section on alpha male manners. Which this stuff, while it's cool, isn't going to help you tonight. But watching this DVD is going to give you some good pointers which can help you tonight or on a date. So make sure you pay close attention. Check it out. Everything. Here you go, man. When you're walking through the club and a girl kind of comes up and touches her arm on you, I'm like, woo, hey. Start charging you. You don't say it like a dick.
I've actually used that when they're doing an IOI.
Good. That's when you use it. I kind of like some of the stuff, but like I don't nag. The first time Gypsy and I ever went out, he had actually approached a girl, came up and said, jealous girlfriend, and we got called out. Very first set ever. And then I walked up to the girl and came in like 10 seconds later. And if you guys are in the wingman section, we're going to cover how to be a proper wing, which is like the reason we got so good so fast. And I walked up like 30 seconds, 20 seconds later, and I came in, hey, how do you know Gypsy? Huge accomplishment intro. And then a minute later, my other friend came in and did the exact same thing. It was crazy. It's creepy as shit. And as we were talking to the set, the one girl called me out. She's like, wow, that's weird. Is he your wingman? And I go, oh, you got an eye booger. Because I had a nag. I'm like, I have this awesome shit I'm going to use. And she turns to her friend and she goes, do I? And she goes, no. So like within 8 seconds, I'm already a liar. After that, so a lot of this stuff that you got to learn how to say. All right, guys, I'm Bravo. This is the full house. Everyone have a handout? Okay. How many of you guys have been with the StyleLife Academy for a little bit? A couple months. Okay. Then you guys kind of know I'm known as the resident alpha male. I don't know. I guess it's like I'm a firearms instructor, edge weapons, martial arts, all that stuff. Teaching military and law enforcement. That's like my background before I got into this. So I guess that makes me the alpha male. Originally, I hated all the esoteric stuff. I hated learning all the astrology and things. But you got to get into this. You got to get balanced. You don't just stick to your one thing and go, this is going to be my golden ticket to everything. You got to open up your mind, be cool to everything. Here's, for me, some of the stuff that works the absolute best. And this is stuff that you can apply to everyone in here. Maybe not every single thing, but an alpha male, like everyone knows, an alpha male is what females are attracted to. And being the leader of your tribe, being the king male, when you can be that person, do you need a handout?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can kind of like come in here and hang out on the wall or something like that. You don't have to be out in the hallway. When you're the alpha male, like last night, if I'm in a group talking to like 8 guys and everyone's sitting there listening to my words, like even though I'm teaching, you guys are all paying to be here and stuff, it doesn't matter what our relationship is. If someone walks by, all they see is I'm the guy talking to everyone. And that instantly gives me a shitload of social proof. Just like with Style showed us how to lock in at the bar, and he pulled the person and leaned against the bar and the 2 people were there, instant social proof. So how can you be the alpha male? There's ways. People say like, oh, I'm not that confident yet. How do I do it? Really, you just have to fake it till you make it. You have to pretend to be that person, and then eventually when you have enough successes under your belt, you'll start filling up all that. You fake it, and you're faking it that you're here, and slowly you'll rise to that level, and then eventually you'll overcome it. And really the only thing that breeds confidence is success. So fake it till you make it, and if you guys have pens or anything, write that down. Fake it till you make it, and success breeds confidence. So it's actually funny with my ex-wife, when she found out I got into this stuff, she was like, I can't believe you do that. You never needed it. Because I had all this stuff already. The stuff I sucked at was the cold approach. Couldn't do it. And with all my tactical training, I was so freaked out when I'd go into like social environments like the club last night, all these people around, I'm like, all right, where are the exits? Who am I going to have to stab first if shit hits the fan? What's going to go on? And like, I'm a firearms instructor, I always had a gun with me in Arizona. And I couldn't relax in social environments. So that was why I got into this stuff originally. I needed to be able to cold approach girls, especially being divorced. I had to fucking get back out in the field, which sucked. And I just wanted to be cool and comfortable in these places. But if you're one of these guys who can just chill in any environment, like I've never been to this club before. We did a walkthrough, but I've never been here at night. When we did our boot camp, we took all the students to clubs that I'd never been to before. Afterwards, I actually had the guys going, man, you like own that place. How many times have you been there? Like, oh, it's the first time. Doesn't matter. Once you get confident, you can be comfortable in any situation. And that's one of the biggest, most important things. I'm going to go down through the list. I'm going to give some stories, and if you guys have things you want to add in, I really wanted this to be like an interactive thing. And if you guys have specific questions, then just feel free to raise your hand all throughout it. All right, alpha male. The only thing you have real control over is yourself. It's like you can try to worry about the red light, running late for traffic and all that, but deep down, ultimately, the only thing you can control is yourself and how you react to all those things. So you can't fucking be fazed by stupid shit. That's a good quote. I like to cuss a lot too. But you can't be fazed by this dumb stuff. Like I went out on a date with a girl, this is in Phoenix, and I came back and my truck had been towed. And actually we'd been dating for a little bit and things were like basically that night we were kind of ending it. It was actually a bad night. And then I came back and my truck was towed. And that wasn't a good night. That was like the worst ending to the night ever. And afterwards we ended up sleeping together. I went and got my truck, picked it back up, came home. She came back to my place. And later when I was talking to her about it, I was like, wow, I thought like it was kind of over. And she goes, literally it was how cool you were when your truck was towed. That like just fucking, it was a huge DHV. She was like, I couldn't believe how calm you were when that happened. I was like, because getting mad doesn't solve anything. I came back and she's like, oh shit, your car was stolen. I was like, I don't see broken glass or anything anywhere where there's no parking lot. It's like, I don't see anything there like that, so I don't think it was stolen. And I looked and there was a towing sign, but I thought it was safe that week and I looked close. I was like, it probably got towed. So I called it up. It was towed. Here you go. Called them up and they're like, oh, you have 20 minutes to get down here. Otherwise, we're going to charge you another night. So I called the cab real quick. I'd never been out there before. Oh yeah, fuck him, I hate him so bad. Called the cab, got a ride there, got the address. My cell phone, I was just doing it, calling up. Afterwards, she was like, you were so cool and calm when that happened that not only did we sleep together that night, but then we started dating again, like seriously and exclusively. Because she's like, that night right there showed me how fucking cool under pressure you are. All right, you're the only one that decides what you do in this world. So family, friends, all that, is really just the big fucking path that you guys lead is up to you. I don't worry what anyone else in here thinks about me. I don't worry what my friends and family, if they love me and they're happy that I'm doing cool shit, awesome. But I'm not outcome dependent. I don't care what other people think about me. It'd be cool if my parents are proud of me, but as long as I'm happy, that's all that matters. Are you happy with where you are in life? Is that on? So I think there's a chair back there.
We're good.
All right. What do you think that you need to be happy in life? A lot of people are like, oh, if only I had this, I would be happy. If only I had $1 million, I'd be happy. If only I had this. But really what it comes down to is what do you really need to be happy in life? Like I just need a bed to sleep in. I don't want to be starving. I don't want to be homeless. If I have a truck, that's nice, but I don't need a truck. I can have a bicycle or something. So we always put all these like limitations on us that I need this to be happy. I need this to be happy. But ultimately, none of that stuff makes you happy. You have to find out what really makes you happy in life. When I got divorced and sold my house and fucking had to start over from square one, all that shit that I thought made me happy that was now gone, you can't rely on that to bring you happiness. Can you kick up the AC, man?
Yeah, I'm just worried about it. Overlap here. Like,
So what is preventing you from obtaining these goals? A lot of guys are like, oh, I can't do this because I'm in school. Like, oh, I want to do martial arts, but I can't because I got work. I can't do this because I got to do that. How many of you guys talked to Sean Stevenson yesterday, the guy in the wheelchair? Awesome guy. One of the very first things I got into when I was first getting into this is he actually had a section on the David D'Angelo video. And it was, his whole thing was, he's a butt man. He goes, I love butts. He goes, but a lot of people use their butts too much. I would go out and exercise, but I got to wake up tomorrow early. Or I got to do this, but I can't. I got to talk to this girl, but she probably has a boyfriend. And that was one of the very few things when I got into this that really hit close to home. Him and Steve P, too. So if you guys can do any of this stuff with him tomorrow, highly, highly recommend it. So, what are your aspects about your life that you'd like to change? Your attitude, looks, body language, voice, etc. When I got into this, I don't know how many people have seen the Lucky 20 video. Anyone in here? All right, when you get home, YouTube it. It's Lucky 20 StyleLife Academy. And it shows the before picture of me. And get me tonight, and I'll show you on my iPhone, my before picture, my fat picture, I like to call it. And it was pretty bad. But when I got into this, I was like, all right, I need to remake myself. So I started working on fashion. I started working, like I had military shaved hair. It was all shaved at the time. I was paying $8 for a haircut. I was wearing clothes that I still had from high school and clothes that I got for free, like tactical training clothes and stuff, because I liked it, but wasn't appealing from the opposite sex. I mentioned this earlier in the magic class, but one of the biggest things that when I got into this, I was like, I need to get my life in order. I need to get myself in order. I need to get my house in order. I need to get my truck in order. Because if you have a date and you pick a girl up and you're in this filthy truck, or you dress sloppy and you can't cut your fingernails, it's like I'm like a hardcore alpha male, but I can still take care of myself. Because if I can't take care of myself, how can I take care of someone else? And that was one of the biggest things when I'd start dating a girl, and she had this broken down car, and she was getting money from her parents, and she was bouncing from job to job, or a waitress, and I was like, man, she can't even take care of herself. Why do I want to date someone? So one of the biggest things when I got into this is I always flipped everything around. I was like, so how's it from my side? And I never thought about that before. All right, so is your room, home, bed in good standing? If you bring a girl home and your sheets are falling apart, your bed isn't made, you have a dog and there's dog hair all over it, there's shit all in your room, what does that convey to a girl? That if you have a sloppy bed, you're probably sloppy in bed. Right. Now, on the flip side of that, you don't want to be like military, where everything's like perfectly like anal retentive. So I'll like purposely almost leave some things out. Like in the last seminar, I had like a deck of cards that I'll leave out because I do this little illusion with some cards. And I'll leave those sitting out. And then later she's like, oh, why do you have a deck of cards out? It's like, oh, I was playing poker with my friends the other night, blah, 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 and I go into some cool illusion, like I talked about before. So are you yourself taken care of? One of the missions that a lot of the guys, when they start the StyleLife Academy, like blows them away, and I got more questions on it, was the mission where you don't shower and don't shave for a couple days. And how many guys have done that? And then afterwards, it's, all right, shave, brush your teeth, nose hair, ear hair, fingernails, all the stuff across the board. And guys would email me and they're like, bravo, this took really long getting ready. Does this get easier? And they had just never done it before. It's like, I just thought it was common sense that if you trim your nose hair today, you're not going to have to trim it tomorrow. It doesn't grow that fast. You're not going to have to cut your fingernails every day. So it's little things that you kind of do all throughout time, and it's not hours and hours and hours of time getting ready like a girl, but you just do it on the weekends. Like I do jiu-jitsu, so I'll trim my nails on Sunday because I got class on Monday, so I'll do that and maybe a little touch-up later. But you got to make sure your skin's taken care of, your hair. Quit going to the barber shop. One of the missions we give you guys too is go out and get a good, expensive haircut and take a picture of it, or go back to your Great Clips or Supercuts or wherever the hell you go and talk to the girl and go, hey, can you do this? Because I don't want to spend $80 getting this if you're able to do it for 10. So if you can do that, cool. It's a good way to save money. But hair is one of the things that you can't change. So is your complexion, so is your smile, so is your teeth. So why wouldn't you want to take care of that? Because that's one thing that's constant. Like my shirt today is pretty cool. My shirt yesterday was really cool. Your clothes change day to day. Sometimes they'll change when you get home from work or whatever. But there's certain things that always remain constant. So why wouldn't you want to take care of as good of those as you can? To me, that's just common sense. I never had to think twice about that. So a lot of people have heard the saying that your interior mirrors your exterior. So vice versa. If I'm feeling good, then I'm looking good. If I know I'm looking good, I went out and got my hair cut, and I went to jiu-jitsu that night, and I even had the guys telling me, oh, your hair looks really good. Because I was going caveman and didn't like shave or cut my hair cut for like a couple weeks, seeing what it would look like. Because I never had facial hair before I started working here. Because with the military, I always had like clean cut. But I would go out and someone would go, man, your hair looks really good. Or yesterday, oh, that shirt looks really cool. And I know that I'm looking good on the outside. That gives me that inner confidence. And it just helps me. And so that flips back and forth. If I know I'm looking good, it gives me that confidence. If I have that confidence, it makes me look better. And I can just project that energy out. So obviously we already covered posture and stuff like that, but I see some guys in here hunched down, shoulders slumped forward. You want to make sure that you just all the time, even here, without back support, just sit up straight, confident, head up. I have people all the time ask me about my posture and how I learned that. I didn't do anything. I used to walk like a caveman all through high school. And I had people talk to me about that. And they're like, yeah, your head's down all the time. And I'm not that tall anyways. So one day I was like, you know what, I'm just going to start walking upright and put my shoulders back because that looks good. And I see another guy doing it and it looked cool. I thought it looked really awesome. So I started doing it. And I just made a conscious effort to do it. And it replaced my old habit. And it was really easy. I just made a conscious effort. And then later throughout the day, I would see I was slouching. And I was like, oh, I should stop doing that. And I would sit up. And eventually, like really good posture there, you're sitting back, leaning back. And eventually it starts happening. And that's your new habit. So instead of like this being your habit, this is my habit. Not that hard to do. All right, we talked about this a little bit yesterday with the Krav Maga and with Nighthawk. But when I'm out, I'm always observing. I'm not just looking at you and I'm blocked out to everything else around me because that's just not being aware of your surroundings, which everyone should be. But that's also creepy if I'm just staring at you talking too much. So I'm just always looking around. It's not one of those things with eye contact where, like what Neil covered earlier about breaking eye contact and talking to someone. But I'm just looking at you and I see movement or someone comes through the door, then I'll look for a second and come back. And you know that you have my attention. It's not me being shy and insecure and talking to you like this. it's me talking to you, and all of a sudden I'll see something happen, I'll look and come back. So you want to make sure that your eyes are always observing everything that's going on around you.
Yeah, like nearly every presenter here in this whole thing since we started yesterday evening has had a significant part of their presentation about observation and awareness.
I would highly recommend, if you guys want to write this down, the background that I got from is the tactical training. There's a guy named Colonel John Boyd, and he has something called the thought process loop, also known as the OODA cycle, the OODA loop, OODA loop, or OODA cycle. And he's a phenomenal guy. I used to call him 42nd Boyd. He's a fighter pilot, and someone could be on his 6 behind him, and within 40 seconds he could always reverse positions and get on them. So he actually was the best pilot for the Air Force for their Top Gun school. And he was a student, and they asked him to come back and teach the next year. He was so good. But he actually redefined military warfare. People say he's the better military strategist than Sun Tzu. So OODA cycle, the Marines actually modeled his cycle right now after this. But if you get into it, it's this isn't written down, it's just something because you asked about that. OODA, observe, orient, decide, act. Every thought you go through, you're doing this. So I would always do it with tactical training. If I'm observing the house, there's hostage takers or whatever in here, I need to gather as much information as I can, then I orientate on something, I decide what to do, and then I act. And so whoever went through the thought process loop quickest, the fastest, would generally win the engagement. So when I got into this stuff, that's the stuff that made me so good, is I would walk up and see a table full of girls, and there's 4 seats, and there's 3 girls sitting at the table, and each 3 chairs has a purse hanging from it, but the other chair was empty. I walked up, and there was a couple drinks that were all empty, and there was a couple other drinks that were half full. And as I walked up, I could just, from me absorbing all this information, I knew it was only 3 girls. I knew they'd been there for a little bit. Everyone had a drink or 2. And as I walked up, I just grabbed one of the chairs, and I was like, oh, hey, is this seat taken? And they're like, no, it's fine, it's all yours. And I knew it was free because I gathered all this information, and I knew no one was sitting there. So I was like, oh, can I take this chair? Is it cool? And they're like, yeah, it's all yours. And I pulled it out and sat down. Like, all right, what were we talking about? And I can do that stuff and get away with it because I have a lot of confidence. But as I did the approach, that was a completely situational opener. I made it up right then. It's in one of the missions. But it only worked because I knew all this stuff by observing them as I walked up. So, but instantly I just figured all that stuff out. And that just, once again, comes with practice. The more you do this, the more you can read people. On flip-flops, hair, that tells me a lot about you. The shorts, tattoo or Band-Aid. There's lots of things I can just get just from looking at people. And that gets into the cold reading too. All right. Alpha male always is a protector of loved ones. Krav Maga, he was talking about A.J. Draven, as he was talking about how he had him and the girl in between the homeless guy. You weren't here yesterday, but that's just something an alpha male does. Everyone who's with you knows that you can take care of them. So if you don't know how to, you got to learn how to. And I have a list on the back page of what to do. Always in control of your emotions. I can get pissed just like everyone else. I can get angry and jealous, but never showing your cards to anyone. Like, I can get jealous over girls. I can get really pissed off and insecure or whatever. It happens to all of us. But I don't let them know that. As far as they know, I'm cool, calm, and collected, and they don't know anything's going on. So I'm just always chill. It's like the duck analogy. There's the water. The duck looks like he's just sailing across the water, but underneath he's paddling for dear life. So under the water that no one can see, he's struggling. But above it, he's just chilling. That's what you always have to do. One of the biggest things guys do, that's one of the biggest issues that just totally ruins sets, is when you apologize for no reason. You walk up, hey, I wanted to talk to you. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you. Oh, what were you saying? Blah, blah, blah. Don't apologize for nothing. As soon as you do that, your value goes fucking to the floor. Because a confident guy doesn't apologize when you're not wrong. If I'm not wrong, I'm not apologizing. I'm not saying, oh, sorry. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can I ask you first? A light. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I didn't want to bug you, but can I do this? But if I walk up and go, hey, you got a light? Which I don't smoke, but big difference between that. So don't apologize when you're not wrong, but you stick to your guns. So if I say something and I believe it, like we're talking about music, and I go, oh, I like Typo Negative. And you're like, oh, they're kind of weird. They're like gothic, that kind of like weird music. I'm like, well, I don't like all their songs. I just like one of their songs, and blah, blah, blah. No, fuck it. If you said something, stick to it. Don't backpedal as soon as someone challenges you, because instantly that shows that you have no confidence. So, oh, it's really cool stuff. You should check it out. They have like 4 or 5 albums that are awesome. That's just what I would do. Typo Negative, whatever. But that's just an example. You don't backtrack once you say something. Oh, hey, I do magic. Maybe I'll show you a trick later. And the girl's like, magic's gay. Magic's for kids or whatever. And you're like, well, I used to do it when I was a kid, but I don't really do it anymore, and I kind of stopped doing it. No, instantly you're backpedaling, and she fucking like pepper sprayed you in the face and you ran back. Never, ever, ever want to do that. However, conversely, if you do something wrong, one of the biggest things that you can do that shows that you're a man is being the first one to apologize, which sucks. And it's hard for me to apologize. I have a huge ego. But if I know I did something wrong, you just got to man up and say it, because I respect that. So don't apologize when you're not wrong. Don't backpedal. But if you are wrong, be the first one to admit to it. Make sense? Another big thing is you don't apologize for being a man. It's like I come up to a girl and I might get called out. She goes, "Are you hitting on me?" I go, "Yeah." "Do you not want me to hit on you?" I was like, "I thought you were cute. So far you seem pretty cool," but it's like I don't apologize for being a man and thinking she's hot or talking to her. And that right there, it's another shit test. And by not apologizing and just like Style was saying, if someone calls you out on it, just admit the truth. "Are you hitting on me?" "Yeah." Or if I talk about something that I like, I work on cars, I do martial arts, whatever, shoot a gun, I don't apologize for that. "Okay, you don't like it? Cool, but that's what I do." That's a cool thing to be able to do. And because if someone checks you on something, and I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they're like, "Oh, Jiu-Jitsu's gay, you're rolling around on the ground with other dudes." I go, "All right, whatever." I don't go, "Oh, no, you come down to school and I'll show you how gay it is." That sounds really bad. But you don't say stuff like that. I said that on purpose. One of the other funny things I'll always do is if you're real confident and you'll do a little bit of self-deprecating humor, just a touch, it goes really, really far. But don't do it unless you're confident as hell. Because if you're the guy, you're like, "Yeah, I'm such a loser. I can't get a girl," whatever. Then they believe there's a little bit of truth to every joke. But last night I was talking to some girls and I was like, "You know what? I need your help. I haven't had a date since high school. I'm so scared of like talking to girls. I need your help to go like." I was trying to get the girls to go help me, like, be my wing girls to go open up other sets with me. I was like, "Yeah, I haven't had a date since high school. I need some help. Can you come help me talk to those girls over there?" And they were like, "There's no fucking way that you haven't had a date since high school." So I was even trying to like knock myself down, but I had so much confidence, they just don't buy it. So self-deprecating humor works only if they know it's clearly not the case. Like I'll DQ myself to a girl, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gay, otherwise you'd totally be mine." And she's like, "Yeah, there's no way you're gay." I was like, "Oh, you're right. So you're mine." One of the other biggest things, which kind of encompasses everything else, is you're a master of himself inside and out. Like, I take care of myself. I'm in good shape. I'm getting in better shape. I'm always in control of my emotions. Like I said, I get pissed off. I have a temper. I flip out. But people don't see it. People don't know it. I'm doing it on my own or whatever. But I don't let people see that because no good comes of that. Just like when you go out with a girl and you let her know about all your like insecurities and your issues. And yeah, I was in high school and this girl dumped me and all this, and that happened. You don't need to let them fucking know that. It doesn't accomplish anything. It's just letting people know negative shit about you, and it just fucks you up. So, just like with this, I can have a temper, I can flip out, I can get jealous, but people never see that side of me. So they're like, "Man, bravo. He's like always stone-faced, he's always in control." Inside, it might be eating me up a little bit, but no one ever knows that. And when you can keep that in check, and I'm not saying like put it in this little ball and never deal with it, but just like go to the gym or go choke some guys out or something, I feel better. Things an alpha male does not do. Who here bites their nails? 1, 2, that's it? 3, 4? Okay, I don't. I was just trying to get you guys to raise your hands up. Don't. It's disgusting. Biting your nails is sick. And I know girls, I've talked to so many girls who've talked about it, and they're like, because it's a nervous tick, and you don't think about it. Like, I pop my knuckles a lot, and I'll pop my neck. So you don't think about it. When you're stressed out, you start doing this stuff. So when you're talking to some girls and you're kind of stressed out, and you start doing this, bad. Bad, bad, bad. So I was trying to coach some guys and trying to figure out how to get them to quit biting their nails. So I told them, next time you're biting your nails, just picture me going. Like Lee Trevino from Happy Gilmore, where he's always just shaking his head disapprovingly at Adam Sandler. Just picture that. And then a week later, I had guys emailing me going, "It worked. Every time I was biting my nails, I thought he was shaking your head." So don't. That's one of the worst things you can do. I've never heard a girl ever say it was cool or it was hot or it was sexy. They all agree it's disgusting. So also, don't rip your nails, don't bite them, don't cut them with like scissors. Just get a pair of fingernail clippers and take care of them. You get a manicure, that's nice, and you can see how it's done properly, but it's not hard to figure out how nails are supposed to be done. And that's one of the things, I'm so observant, I'm always looking at stuff like that, and I can tell if someone's wearing a watch on their left hand or their right hand, rings, I'm always watching for that stuff, and girls are 10 times more perceptive than we are. So Like I talked about earlier with posture, like they did, if your head's down, your shoulders are slumped forward, what does that convey? Yeah. You're sloppy in life, you're sloppy in bed, you're sloppy with women, no confidence. But if I'm walking like this, instantly, look at my energy level. Huge difference just from that. All right, doesn't make eye contact with others. That's one of the biggest things you have to work on. And I'm looking in here the whole time, and I'm looking at every single one of you. And so far, I've seen every guy in here make eye contact with me. When I look, you guys aren't breaking it. So I'm really impressed with you guys. Most of the guys that come to seminars and boot camps, when I make hard eye contact with a guy and it seems like I'm talking to him for a second, they'll go, and they'll look down and take notes. And it's not like an alpha thing. A lot of guys get into this, and if you're picked on in high school, like I was a small guy, I'm still kind of small. So a lot of these guys have these issues of shit that they dealt with when they were growing up. And when they learn this stuff, they're like, now it's my time to get even with everyone. I know these nags, and I'm fucking nagging this girl into tears. Or I'm going out tonight, and I'm A-mogging these guys, whatever. That might work if you're nagging the girl and A-mogging guys, but if they're beating you up, obviously it still didn't work. Second, if like a girl throws a drink in your face or slaps you or a guy punches you, I didn't care about eye contact. So you want to find like the happy medium with all this stuff. I don't want to sit here and just go, yeah, right? And try to have a stare down for no reason, just because I'm trying to like out-alpha this guy, and I don't even think about that stuff at all. I'm never going, oh, this guy's out-alpha. I mean, I can't let him do this. And if you're worried about that, you're not in the moment dealing with the girl, dealing with the human interaction that you're having right then, and that's what you need to be worrying about. If a guy comes up, hey man, how's it going? Was anyone here in that set when the drunk guy walked by, the real tall drunk guy? Was I talking to any of you? Some drunk guy walked by and he's like, yeah, I was talking to this girl, she's a fucking cunt. Oh man, she's a bitch. He's like, I'm gonna go fuck 10 bitches tonight to get even with her. I'm like, hey, good luck with that, man, cool. There was just this drunk idiot cussing about girls and stuff. I was like, oh, cool. And I just gave him what he needed to feel like he was having a good time. He walked off, and I just kept talking to the other guys, and he was a big dude, too. So it could have, like, freaked people out, but I was like, oh, shit, man, yeah, girls are crazy. I just rolled with it, didn't care, didn't, like, go like, hey, I'm fucking talking to these girls, fuck off, because I knew that wasn't the right thing to do. I just gave him the one sentence, and he got out of there, and I was able to calibrate to the situation. So don't ever worry about out-alphaing every guy you meet. Because like I said, as soon as you start doing that, you're doing this for the wrong reasons. All right, how many of you guys did I shake your hands when you guys came in here yesterday, today, anything like that? How many guys did I re-grip after we shook hands? 1, 2, 3, okay. Now I might have re-gripped you and did the Beastmaster, because that's my handshake that I do. My uncle was in Beastmaster too, but he really was, but it doesn't matter at all. It's such a shitty movie. But he was the priest that got clawed by the tiger at the beginning. So that's actually a routine I tell girls when I do that. But if I ever gripped your hand and then re-gripped, that was bad. That means you need to work on your handshake. Because when you go up to shake someone's hand, nice, good grip, and you don't want to do the bone crusher grip. Like, that's a whole other thing. Guys will come up and they try to out-alpha, and I'm like, it's stupid. And like, I'm not worried about my hands on top of his, and like I read this on the forum, guys are like, oh, make sure my palm's facing up, because that shows dominance. I look in his eyes, and I go, how's it going? Just fucking shake someone's hand. You don't have to fucking worry about all this stuff. But make sure that you get a good grip. And one of the best little routines I do is if someone grips me short, which I gripped him short, it wasn't his fault, but if someone grips me short and I go, wait, you know what?
Do it again.
There we go. All right. I know that's going to be bugging me all night if I don't get a good one. But you don't want to do a super hard grip, especially to girls. You want to have a firm grip, but you don't want to have something that's super hard that's crushing them, because they're delicate little flowers. So you want to make sure that you have a good firm handshake that lets them know you're a man, but you're not trying to fucking, especially with a bigger guy or something, I'm not going to sit here and try to, once again, out-alpha you or whatever. Just a nice, firm handshake. Be a man. We were talking before about hands in your pocket, how that's bad body language. What looks better? If I'm like this, talking to someone, and your hands are buried, it looks like you're playing pocket pool or something, not good. If your hands are like this and your elbows are in, not as bad as buried in there. I can't even do it with the mic on me, but buried, thumbs out, a little bit better. Thumbs here, better still. But really have your hands out. Talk with them. As you talk with your hands, that just conveys so much more social value to everyone who's looking, and it just helps convey the story that much better. So by having your hands out, that's what cool, confident people do, is they talk with their hands. Especially if you do magic. It's easy to get things ready later for magic. But when you're talking with your hands out, there's actually studies that show that if your hands are out, people feel more at ease and more comfortable. So if I approached you later and I walked up to you and I made fists, I'm walking up like this, instantly what does that convey? It's like, what the fuck's going on? Is this guy going to punch me? When I walk up and I'm smiling and my hands are out, it's just instant energy level change. And just observe this when people approach you and you see that someone walks up in a cool, confident, friendly way. That to me is more alpha than a guy walking up trying to look tough. Because just like a rich man doesn't have to tell you he's rich, A tough guy doesn't have to walk up and check everyone. It's always the guys that are insecure that have to. All right. Don't fidget. Don't do weird little stuff where you're sitting here playing with your thumb ring and your finger and playing with your ear. I didn't have facial hair before, so I started doing this a lot when I first got into this. And Gypsy had to tell me, he's like, dude, what are you doing with your goat? Are you trying to act like you're smart because you're stroking it or what? I was like, no, I fucking didn't even realize I was doing it. But luckily, I had a wing to point it out to me. And I never had facial hair before, so I was like, that was new to me. I always wanted to make sure I didn't have little flyers or whatever sticking out. I've broken my nose a couple times too. So if my allergies act up, sometimes I'll sniff a little because I can't breathe out of one side. So I had surgery on it too. It's still fucked up. But I would do that a little and kind of like sniffle and just rub my nose a little bit. And then I had people think I was a cokehead or something. So these are little things that like you might not even realize you do. Like looking at someone. There's a guy in New York, and his head would tilt to the side, and his head would bobble and move around a little bit. And he talked to me, and he wanted a critique. And I was like, he wanted it straight. Good posture. And he wanted it straight. And I was like, you want me to tell you exactly what's up? I go, you might not like it. And he goes, no, I want it straight. I go, all right, dude. All right, what's up with your head? Your head goes sideways. Do you like wobble it when you're talking to people? I'm like, I've never seen that before. And he's like, I do? And I was like, yeah, you're doing it right now. And I had him look in a mirror as he was talking to me. He's like, I never realized it. And I go, you didn't realize that the world went like this when you were talking to him? And he just didn't know it. So unless someone points this stuff out to you, like I'm really good at knowing where every muscle and every part of my body is at all times. But sometimes you just do stuff you don't think about, especially when you're stressed out. When you're out talking to girls and stuff, especially when it's new. You guys get stressed out about this stuff. Which you shouldn't be, because it's fun. It's fun talking to hot girls. I love talking to hot girls. Shouldn't be stressed out about it. It's fun making out with hot girls. Shouldn't be worried about that stuff. But when you're stressed out, you don't rise to the occasion. In training, we used to say this. You default to your training. So guys who like shadow box or do like martial arts where you really don't break a sweat or anything, they think if they got in a fight, they're going to be able to just kick someone's butt. But if you don't train at this level and you train at this level and you get in a fight, you're not magically going to become Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris probably win. But you're going to be down here because that's what you train at. So if you train at this level, that's where you're going to be at. It's the same thing with pickup. If you're aware of all this stuff when you're practicing, then when you're really doing it and not even thinking it in the moment, that's where you're going to do all the great stuff. Always in control of your emotions. Already talked over that. All right, don't get walked over. Have a backbone. Neil talked about how he was painting the girl's house when she went out on a date. Yeah, fuck that. I've had girls like try to check me on stuff or we're arguing. I'm like, you know what, I'm out of here. And I just grab my stuff. I'm like, later. Nice take out. I don't take shit. I'm too old. I'm only 28, but I'm too old to take shit from people. I've lived too much. I don't have time for that stuff. It's like I know I have enough cool, high-value people in my life that I don't have to put up with any of that shit. And as soon as you do that too and you show them that you don't take their shit, instantly value goes through the roof and they realize that this is a fucking cool, confident guy. Because everyone else takes their shit and puts up with it. I don't care. All right, one of my huge things. Guys don't drink from straws. When you're talking to a girl and you're like this, cool, cool. Oh, awesome, that's cool. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Bad, don't do that. First off, you have the drink in front of you and you're shielding yourself and you're blocking it and you're using this like, and this is fidgeting, which we just covered, don't do. What does that look like? Or if you're looking for the straw when you're talking to the girl, don't do that. Guys don't drink from straws. Drink from the bottle. Pin the straw down. That's just a little pet peeve. And when you're out too, I'll even do that. We're at the table drinking and the guys have like little thin straws and they're drinking out of both of them. And I take my straw out and set it down and they look at me and I go, yeah, guys don't drink out of straws. And then they'll go and take theirs out and set it down. But as soon as you hear it, it's one of those little things that just clicks in your head. You're like, yeah, that doesn't look good. But unless you see it, unless you see someone playing around with it, you don't realize how bad it is. All right. Here's a cool little list. I checked with my dad. I checked with a lot of guys I know. My brother, he's a firefighter, cop, cage fighter, lawyer. That's my older brother. That's what I compete with growing up. We went down the list of a lot of this stuff. It's actually funny. Some of the stuff my brother can't do. But if you're successful enough, then you can pay someone else to do it. And that's also an alpha male because you know how to either take care of it yourself or you can pay someone to take care of it. But my rule of things that every guy should know how to do is change a tire, jump a car. You need to learn how to defend yourself. Defend yourself, defend your loved ones. Take some martial arts classes. Shoot a gun. That to me is just a DHV story. Going out, hey, we went out shooting. I worked at a gun range. We shot fully automatic and stuff like that, guns, everything we had there. That's cool to be able to say that.
Take a girl doing that too.
If you know how to do it. A lot of guys take girls out, and they would always like go rent the Desert Eagle, like a 50 cal Action Express, and the guy was shooting it with the girl, and one girl shot it, and the casing came back and hit her in the forehead, and she literally had a goose egg. And then one guy actually got cut with the brass. Girls will go out shooting with tank tops, and the brass will go flying into their top, and then burns them. And I've had casings land in my ear and burn my ear and stuff. So if you know how to do something, then do it. Like rock climb, I took that up. I'm scared of heights. Like I'll watch movies, and the people will be like on a building, like Jackie Chan, they're fighting on that. My hands will start sweating. That freaks me out. So I went skydiving, and I started rock climbing. And actually, when Gypsy and I were becoming wingmen, that's what we did. We went out rock climbing together. And he had to work the rope as I was going up, the belay device. And that was a good thing to get trust for your wingman, because the safety, I was fucking scared of falling down. So, but if you know how to shoot a gun, definitely go out and do it. And if you don't know how to shoot a gun, go take a lesson. It's like $30, $40 at a gun range, something like that. Do 1-2 lessons, and you're pretty solid. You're already better than a lot of guys out there. If you really want to get serious, go take a class or something in it. But once you know how to do that, great DHV. Same thing with rock climbing, same thing with all this cool, fun stuff that guys do.